Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you about the debut record from indie Gillion, Neverafter, out November 15th as a self-release. The album has 11 tracks, 53 minutes in length. This album has a lot of things to digest. There's a concept to it, there's a really cool structure to the album, and then you have the sound and the mixture of genres within that sound. So to me, those are the main three components that really need to be discussed when looking at this record. I want to start off with the concept because to me it's important for you guys to understand the concept before you sit down to listen to the album, because I feel like that's going to impact your pleasure and it's going to impact your listening experience as far as the overall record is concerned. The concept of the album tells the story of Aria as she travels through this dream world, this dream state, in search of closure and happiness following her mother's loss. Her mother had a music box that was passed on to her, and that's the only item that she holds dear to her. It's the only thing she has left from her mother. Now that box stopped working following her mother's death, so in this dream state, in this dream world, in this journey that she embarks in, she's not only in search of that sound, but also the happiness and the fulfillment and the closure that sound will bring to her life. So that's really important to her, and this is the overall concept and the overall story that this album is going to tell you through its music from track to track. It really is a journey. This album really is a complete journey from the first track to the last track, and it really encompasses this overall concept of Aria's story. As far as the structure is concerned, I really like what Andy did on this record because he kind of flipped the tables. A lot of bands release albums and include an instrumental track. He releases an instrumental album and includes one track with vocals. Really a flipping of the norm, if you will. So I really like that idea. But more important, I like what that vocal track does to the album, and I like the overall structure of the album. To me, there's three songs that really tie into the overall structure, feel of the record. The opening track of the album, which is a really short track that has a little bit of that music box sound to it. So it's the perfect way, almost like you're getting into that dream state. The first thing that you hear is the memory that you have of how that dream box, the music box sounds. So that is the first thing you get from this record, and that is perhaps the first memory that Aria has going into that dream state, and then the rest is her in search of that same sound. She's in this battle to find that closure, that sound, that happiness, that connection to her lost mother. So I really like that intro. I really like what it does to the album, and I really like how it sets the table for the overall structure. Then in the middle of the record, you have Aria, which is a track that has vocals, the only track that has vocals. And that to me is a very important track because it works, it's also a short track. It works as a bridge track. It almost works as a narrator telling you the story of Aria, telling you about the character, telling you about herself. Almost not only as a narrator, but also a little bit of self-thought. Almost like you're looking at your own thoughts, and those thoughts are not being verbalized. So I really like what that does in the middle of the album. It really bridges the first part of the record with the second part of the record, and it gives you a little bit of context, and it helps you understand where she started, where she is, and where she's going within her story, within her dream world. And then the album closes off with Neverafter, which at the end you hear Aria waking up from her dream state. That to me was absolutely magnificent, pure genius. If you're going to have this concept, if you're going to have this idea, you really have to enhance the storytelling aspect to your audience. Andy does that on the last track by creating one of the more dynamic, more complex tracks on the record, but also the closing, having that gasp for air when you wake up, not necessarily waking up of a dream state, but waking up of a nightmare, or waking up from a dream that was very intense, that almost felt real. You get that gasp of air at the end from Aria. I really like that. I really like that closing to the album. It's just really well put together. Everything ties in perfectly. The structure of this record, as you can see, really allows the songs to follow a journey, and really allows the songs to just kind of blend one into the other and really take you on this journey. This is an album that really grabs your attention, brings you in, and then you feel like you're Aria. You feel like you're the character. You feel like you're in this dream state. Musically, the album is really diverse. In my opinion, it's really a connection of three different genres: progressive metal, symphonic metal, and melodic death metal. All of these three genres are encompassed into this record. Not necessarily all within every single track. Some tracks have a lot more of melodic death metal, some tracks have a lot more progressive, some tracks have a lot of symphonic elements. Some mix 2 of those genres, sometimes 3 of those genres, but overall those are the predominant features as far as the sound is concerned on this record. You have to think it from a storytelling perspective. You know, you're telling a story, there's no such thing as a story that stays linear all the way throughout. You have peaks and valleys, you have cliffhangers, you have really drastic moments, you have more intense moments, you have more melodic moments, more laid back moments. So you have all of these different emotions, you have all of these different things happening within the story. For you to be able to really bring that story to life, you need to give each single song its own structure, but its own dynamic, its own fluidity. The only way you can really do that on a record like this is by changing the styles, changing the genres, changing the approach to your sound, mixing different genres together to really give the album this roller coaster feel, this feel of a journey. So it's really important in my perspective that these styles are incorporated, not necessarily all in the same track like I said, but they're incorporated throughout the record to give this record not a linear feel, but really a feel of up and down, of continuity, but a feel of up and down, of peaks and valleys. To me, that's extremely important. As the story changes, as the emotions change, also that sound changes, also those influences changes, because those specific genres are really able to bring the story to life, to really make you feel like you're a character in that story, like you're the character into that story. This is a story that's definitely told through sound, imagination, and creativity. In my opinion, while not a huge fan of instrumental albums, Andy Gillion did a phenomenal job on this record. Really captivating sound, really well put together, orchestrated perfectly. The combination of those 3 genres is not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy to tell a story from his perspective this way. It's really a difficult job to do. It's really hard to transport what you have in your mind and then make other people connect to it. I believe that he achieved that with this record. Magnificently done, really well put together, flawlessly done. One other aspect as far as sound is concerned that I really have to mention, and that is the drums. I absolutely love the drums on this record. I really like the fact that he used a drummer on the album. I see a lot of people that are releasing solo records using computer drum tracks. I really feel that takes a little bit away from the sound. It takes a little bit away from that emotion, those feelings that the music is supposed to bring out of you. So I'm really happy that he used an actual drummer on this record, and it really shows. It shows how strong the drum tracks are overall in this album. Really powerful, really strong, really vibrant. They add a lot of emotion, they add a lot of feelings to the songs, and they're the perfect companion to his guitar playing. The two are interweaved from the first to the last track really well, a really perfect combo, a really perfect duo, if you will. So I really like the fact that he used an actual drummer in a magnificent drummer at that. So magnificent job all around. As far as songs are concerned, I want to talk about Becoming the Nightmare. This is a guitar-driven track. I mean, all of them are guitar-driven tracks, but this one is a guitar-driven track that has a lot of symphonic elements mixed into it. There's also a little bit of prog with melodic death metal. Perhaps this is one of the songs that really mixes those 2 genres, and then it sprinkles around it some symphonic elements in order to enhance the atmosphere that the song has. The music box sound melody pops in around the midpoint of this song, and it's one of those it adds a little bit of flavor to the track because it makes you feel like she's in search of that sound, and every so often she hears it, she gets a glimpse of it, and this song kind of gives you that. It has a beautiful bridge towards the middle of the track that has a lot of melody that merges the first portion of the track with the second portion of the track, and then it finishes off the song with a beautiful guitar melody. The drums really enhance the overall melody that this track has because the drums have a lot of power, and that allows the melody of the guitars to really shine in the overall feel of this song. Next, Black Lotus. This is my favorite song on the record. I absolutely love Black Lotus. Definitely my favorite track. Perhaps the reason why, the more I thought about it, why is this my favorite song on the record? The more I thought about it is because the more it sounded to me like a more Principal-esque track from a guitar perspective. It had a lot of that melodic death metal feel to it. Maybe that's one of the reasons that I really gravitated to this song. I really like how it feels. I really like how it sounds. And I really like the overall structure that it has. Not only has that Mors Principum Est sound, it also has that Mors Principum Est overall structure to the track. The song has a feel of urgency to it. It's not a really fast-paced song, but the overall vibe that you get of the song is really one of urgency, one of cliffhanger built into the track. It's almost a musical cliffhanger. You always feel like you're chasing something or you're being chased, and there's something about to happen at any given time of the song. I like that overall feel, atmosphere that the song has. The drums are killer on this track, as they are on every single song on this record. They just make the sound heavier, they make the sound more robust. The guitar work is magnificent. The cascading melodies that are on this specific track are absolutely phenomenal. There's a little bit of an introduction of a symphonic choir, almost humming, if you will, at the midway point with a piano that adds a really somber feel to the song. I like that. It changes the song completely. It changes the mood, it changes the tempo, it changes the overall vibe that the track has all the way up to this point. This creates a break within the song, and then it gives it new life to the next portion of the track that has a return to how it sounded originally, to how it felt at the beginning. So this goes full circle. Last but not least, Shards of a Forgotten World, a really stripped down melodic track, one that also includes a little bit of that music box sprinkled into it, and I like that. It adds that storytelling aspect. Like I said, it adds the overall concept that the record has. A song that offers some light, perhaps a realization or a re-encounter with one's inner self. That's the overall feel that you really want to get from this song. The guitar melody really weaves a thick web, and it really captures your attention. The drums help that. The heaviness of the drums and how driven the drums are on this song really helps the guitar create this melody that's very captivating. It's a song that really has dips and has peaks and valleys. It dips in and out of more intensity, less intensity, more intensity, less intensity. It's a really roller coaster of a track that perhaps better represents the overall feel and structure of the album. Alright guys, this is it. This is Andy Gillion's debut record, Neverafter, out November 15th, self-release. If you like his work with Mors Principum Est, if you're a fan of great guitar work, if you're a fan of prog, melodic death metal, symphonic metal, I really recommend you checking out his work. He's really able to merge those three worlds and create one very unique sounding record. Go check it out. Find them on Facebook. Pre-order the album. Support this guy. He's a great musician, great composer, and he did a phenomenal job on this album. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, I'll be reading them and getting back to you. Take care, guys.